Welcome to our 5 on 5. I'm pleased to be joined today by Republican gubernatorial candidate Bridget Barton. Bridget, thanks for taking the time and joining us today.
Happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Our pleasure. So you're part of a very crowded field of Republicans seeking the nomination in 2 weeks. What makes you different from your competitors?
Well, I definitely stand out. As you can see, on my sign, I'm relentlessly optimistic, but I'm also the real outsider in this race. In that I have not a politician, I haven't held political office. I have nothing to lose, and I am not interested in a long-term political career. I'm doing this because of the severe problems that we're facing in Oregon that our career politicians just seem to be either unwilling or unable, or a combination of the two, to even address. And I've had 30 years of experience as a conservative advocate and spokesperson. I'm kind of on these very issues. So it was time to step forward. I'm coming forward as a problem solver. And, these really aren't even partisan issues per se. And I am coming in, I'm going to stay laser focused on solving problems on education, crime, substance abuse, homelessness, and better use of our natural resources, get our business economy going again. Those are things that affect everyone. And for some reason, our career politicians have utterly failed us. And so coming in as an outsider, I don't owe anyone anything. And I'm willing to get the job done. Not afraid to do hard things.
So with that outsider experience, as you say, what makes you think you're ready to run the state of Oregon?
Well, as I said, I do have 30 years of experience, and that is in the conservative advocacy background. So I have a pretty vast network of people around the state that I've come to know, and I have therefore a pretty good list of people that I can turn to when the time comes to put into these boards and commissions and make appropriate appointments to the department heads, et cetera. I've also managed my own business for this past 25 years, served on a number of boards and commissions myself. I feel very prepared to run. One thing a lot of people don't know about me, I'm 40 years in recovery from alcoholism. And that experience and expertise itself, I've been on the board of DePaul Treatment Center in Portland, gives me some really unique expertise and experience in this area that I think is going to be absolutely crucial to get these problems solved, get the homeless off our streets, turn from a whole housing first approach to a let's solve our substance abuse problem first, and get more dollars allocated to treatment. You probably know we're number 50 in the country in treatment beds per capita, but we're number 1 in substance abuse. So this has got to be flipped on its head, and I can get that job done.
Okay, we're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll have much more in just a moment. Stay with us. Welcome back to our 5 on 5. Again, I'm here with Republican gubernatorial candidate Bridget Barton. The Supreme Court decision to potentially overturn Roe v. Wade has been in the news this week. Are you pro-choice or pro-life? And how would this potential decision by the court affect your ability to govern or your plans to govern?
Well, first of all, I would support this decision. I think this should come back to the states. I'm very much pro-life from the moment of conception to natural death. And, I think this problem of our approach to life in general in the state needs a lot of change. We have lost our respect for the sanctity of life, for the value of an individual life, and whether it's foster kids or homeless people laying on the street or mentally ill or victims of sex trafficking or our most vulnerable seniors, I think it's important that we take a new look at how we value life in Oregon. I think it's affecting our entire culture. So very much pro-life. And I think what happened at the Supreme Court was a terrible breach of security and was an attack on democracy in general, and probably was instigated by the very same kind of radical leftists who've driven our state into the ditch. And I think most Oregonians agree with me that paying for having taxpayer money used to provide lodging and travel for people out of state to come here and have an abortion, for using taxpayer money to pay for abortions, and having abortions available up to the 3rd trimester and up to including the moment of birth. Most people in Oregon do not agree with any of that. And they're looking for a candidate that is going to be a lot more pro-life than the people we've got making the laws right now.
What would you do as governor to ensure Southern Oregon's summers aren't smoked out for dozens of days each year?
Well, not just Southern Oregon, the entire state, but yes, you've really taken the brunt of it down there. I'm in favor of putting fires out and working with our federal partners to put the fires out on federal land before they spread to private and state lands. I'm in favor of keeping forest roads open and available for putting fires out. I'm also in favor of instituting a much more aggressive post-burn management plan. And as a governor, I am very much bottom-up governing, not top-down like we've seen from the last few governors. So I would be coming out to the counties and working county by county and setting up their individual fire plans. What I've seen talking to people, for example, up in my area here, when the communities themselves had to actually go out with tractors in and put the fires out themselves. We have to go to the community as the governor and say, what do you need? What works in your area? How can we provide resources for you? And how do we stop these fires? It does vary county to county how they handle them. And I tell you what, county governments and city governments and the local people, they know what to do. They've just had their hands tied.
One final question. What would be your first act if you're elected governor?
My first act is going to be to suspend the gas tax, and then I'll ban critical race theory in the schools. And then my very first appointment will be a new deputy superintendent of public instruction. Our schools are in shambles, and will put in place a new vision for academic core excellence. We've got to get all the indoctrination and the political agenda out of the schools. Our kids don't have 1 second to lose in class on anything but the academic core subjects. We're 46th in the country in education, 46th in graduation rate. My goal is to get that up past the middle in my first 4 years, and that will take aggressive work. And I'll tell you what, right now, our public schools, they don't deserve our kids. But I'm going to get these schools back on track, from the Department of Education down to the individual school level, where every single effort is aimed at academic core excellence. No more indoctrination in our schools, no more political agenda. We just don't have time for it. We've lost 2 full years of education during COVID, between the closures and the masking and getting kids reorganized and going again. We've lost 2 years of school for most of these kids. Got to make that up quickly, and I will.
Bridget, thank you for taking the time. We do appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me. Love being down in your county. I came in first in the poll down there, the straw poll for Josephine County. I'm very happy about that.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. We'll be right back.